Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are unpacking a major development in South Africa's foreign policy stance, as President Cyril Ramaphosa reaffirms the country's commitment to an independent and values-driven approach to international affairs. This story has sparked intense discussion among political analysts, church leaders, and ordinary South Africans alike, especially as the world faces deepening geopolitical tensions. During a significant dialogue with the South African Council of Churches in Pretoria, President Ramaphosa made it clear that South Africa will not bow to global superpowers or be dictated to by international political pressure. His message was bold, unapologetic, and rooted in the Constitution. Ramaphosa emphasized that South Africa's foreign policy must reflect its national values: peace, justice, respect for human rights, and a commitment to non-alignment. In his words, the country will continue to chart its own course, guided not by pressure from the East or West, but by the foundational values of our democracy. And this comes at a very critical time. As tensions escalate across the globe, from the war in Ukraine to the ongoing humanitarian crises in Gaza and the broader Middle East, South Africa has come under fire for what some critics describe as an ambiguous or non-committal foreign policy. But Ramaphosa is standing firm, insisting that South Africa's approach is principled, morally consistent, and aligned with long-standing diplomatic traditions rooted in the post-apartheid era. Let's not forget that South Africa played a leading role in championing peace and justice during the anti-apartheid movement. The country has since carried that moral identity into the international space, often mediating between opposing powers and pushing for multilateralism over militarization. However, in recent years, this approach has come under intense scrutiny, particularly from Western governments and commentators who expect clearer alignment on issues like the Russia-Ukraine war. South Africa's refusal to condemn Russia outright, for instance, has led to diplomatic tensions, including warnings from the US and EU about trade and security relations. In this context, Ramaphosa's meeting with the South African Council of Churches is more than just symbolic, it's strategic. The church holds deep influence in South African society, and its leaders have historically played a pivotal role in shaping the moral compass of the nation, especially during apartheid. Bishop Malusi Mpumlwana, the General Secretary of the SACC, welcomed the President's honesty and reaffirmed the church's commitment to justice, peace, and ethical governance. The dialogue was a reminder that foreign policy isn't just a matter for diplomats, it's about the soul of the nation, and how we project our values to the world. Some political analysts believe this move is also aimed at shoring up domestic support in the lead-up to national elections. With the ANC facing growing pressure from opposition parties and civil society groups, reaffirming a morally sound foreign policy could help rebuild trust among voters who feel the government has become too passive or too compromised in recent years. There's also the bigger picture, as global power dynamics shift, with China, Russia, and BRICS nations challenging Western dominance. South Africa is finding itself walking a diplomatic tightrope. How do you maintain global friendships, protect trade relationships, and still stand for justice? Ramaphosa seems to be signaling that South Africa is done choosing sides. Instead, it will advocate for peace and multilateral engagement, even if that means distancing itself from powerful nations that expect loyalty over principle. And while some critics argue that this neutrality risks making South Africa irrelevant on the global stage, others believe it positions the country as a credible peace broker in a world that desperately needs honest mediators. At the same time, the president's remarks raise sensitive questions. Can South Africa truly remain neutral while human rights abuses occur in Gaza, Sudan, or Ukraine? Does refusing to take sides in conflicts imply complicity or moral indifference? And how do we reconcile our foreign policy with our history of fighting injustice? These are not easy questions, and they reflect the deep ethical dilemmas facing a country that prides itself on moral leadership, yet operates in a brutally pragmatic world. In conclusion, Ramaphosa's reaffirmation of an independent foreign policy is more than just diplomatic posturing, it's a bold attempt to reclaim South Africa's voice on the world stage. Whether this approach will pay off politically or diplomatically remains to be seen, but one thing is clear, South Africa is charting its own path, even if that means standing alone. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Do you think South Africa's foreign policy should be more assertive, or is neutrality the best path forward? We'd love to hear your views. See you next time.